Cool. So here we are. Yeah. So Nischay, how was your
Yeah,
last 23 hours?
great, sir.
Cool. And what is great about it? Anything specific?
Nothing specific actually.
Mhm.
Just that you told me not to use good, so I'm using great.
Oh, wow. So, and did you notice any difference while you are using the word great?
Why?
Did you notice any difference when you're saying that it's great? When you're saying great instead of good, did you notice any difference?
No.
No difference. It looks the same. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what we discussed yesterday, representational system.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So did you apply it on anybody?
I applied it everywhere actually, sir.
Hey, I just want to listen to that. What was your experience?
I just got to know everything like more, how to say, more in a better way.
Mhm.
Actually, I understood what I was saying, what other people were saying, like that.
All right. Any specific? Anything specific that you have consciously said or listened to and
No.
discovered something? Okay. And yesterday I shared some pictures with you for about all those keywords.
Yes.
Okay. You what you can do, you can take printouts of those keywords if possible and keep them in a file. So initially you may require it for some time. Once you move into that unconscious competence zone, then you don't need.
Okay.
Okay. There's one thing. Second thing is, even if you want to train somebody on this, these printouts will help you. So you can take advantage of it and you can train somebody. And when you train somebody, you learn it. You actually learn it. What is
Mm.
happening right now is that you are knowing about it. It's just knowing. You're knowing, probably understanding also, probably realizing also. The moment you actually apply it to teach somebody, you
Yeah.
start getting it. You actually start learning. That knowledge converts into wisdom. Okay. So
Yeah.
So today we will be discussing on a very interesting topic, and this topic is eye accessing cues. Have you heard about this word, eye accessing cues?
Can you repeat, sir?
Eye accessing cues. That's what I mentioned with the group. So today we will be discussing eye accessing cues.
No.
So you never heard about it?
No.
Okay. Now let's do this. Imagine that if, like, when somebody is talking to you, just imagine this: when somebody is talking to you, you are watching his eyes or her eyes, movements of her eyes. And with the
Yeah.
movement of her eyes, you can calibrate that whether this person is visual or auditory or kinesthetic or auditory digital. Also, whether this person is constructing something or recalling something.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So what did I say? What
So
eye
like,
accessing cues can help? Eye accessing cues. It is EYE, then ACCSINT, eye accessing cues. CUES.
so isn't this bit like mind reading?
To some extent, yes. You're
So
actually,
basically,
you can visualize what that person is doing, whether he's telling the truth or he's telling a lie. You can also distinguish whether he's recalling some event which has actually happened in his life, or he's creating it, or she's creating it, or she's remembering it. And you can also figure out whether this person is a visual person or an auditory person or a kinesthetic person or a auditory digital person.
mm.
Just looking at the person's face and eye movements, you can guess that. It's possible. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm just sharing my screen with you, and just want you to look at it and think whatever is coming to your thoughts. Okay, just take 2 minutes, watch this picture, and think about whatever is coming to your mind. Okay. So these arrows are essentially the direction of the movement of the eye. Okay. Now imagine that this is the person who is facing you. Okay. So when this person is looking up, whether it is left or whether it is right doesn't really matter. When he is looking up, that means he is a visual person primarily. Okay.
Yeah.
And if he is looking sideways, then he is primarily an auditory person. If he is looking
Okay.
down towards his right and your left, if he is looking down towards his right and your left, then he is a primarily kinesthetic person. His primary representational system is kinesthetic. Feelings are more important for him. And if that person is looking towards your right bottom and his left bottom,
Mm.
then he is likely to be a logical person. Basically, everything is all about right and wrong. Okay, makes sense?
Um, no, but okay.
All right, let me repeat. If the person is looking on his left side or right side towards up, like upper left or upper right, then he's a visual person. If he is looking on his left or right center, then he's an auditory person. And if he's looking towards his right bottom, then he is a kinesthetic person. And if he's looking at towards left bottom, then he is a auditory digital person.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So let me share a little more on this with you. See, okay, one more thing. Now, if that person is looking, see, you are asking that person some question, okay? You're asking that person a question and he is looking towards his top left, okay, this direction. That means he's recalling an event. That means he's recalling an event, something which has already happened and he is recalling it, and also in the visual form. If he's looking towards his right, top right, then also he is a visual person who is visualizing it, but he's constructing it, he's creating it. Creating in the sense that he is telling a lie or he is right creating a story. In that either way, it is a story. Either he's telling a story which has happened or he's creating a story. In our life, everything is story. Every event is a story. Whatever we relate to, whatever we talk about, everything is a story. So when you ask somebody about a vacation, And if that person is talking about that place or if sharing about his her experiences, when looking mostly towards top left, then he is actually recalling what he has seen. If he is looking at the top right, then he is constructing. So it is not something that he or she has seen it, he is just creating it. Okay, so this is visual creation and visual recall. Then comes the auditory recall and auditory creation. So for example, if you ask that person that, okay, so what sound was there at that point of time? Was it quite loud? Now, if he is telling the truth, he will recall, he will look towards his left and parallel to the ground, horizontal left. But if he is telling a lie, or if he is creating it, he is actually thinking that whether it was loud or not. Then you will notice that he is looking at his right, this side.
So if it's truth on the left, and if it's a lie on the right,
Yes. To put it
left
very
and right
simple,
for him.
for him, like when you are looking at that person, this is you are looking at that person. So if he is looking at his left, then he is recalling it, then he is telling the truth.
Yeah.
If he is looking on his right, then he is creating it. Okay.
Hmm.
So you have to look at his perspective or her perspective, in which direction he is moving his eyes. Now his eyes are constantly moving, but the moment he's recalling or talking about it, he will definitely look towards left, either it is left top or left sideways. And if that person is telling, creating something or telling a lie, he will definitely look towards his right side, either right top or right horizontal, or you can say right center.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he's looking towards his bottom right, ये उसका bottom right है, that means he is a person who is kinesthetic type. Like for him, feelings are most important, or for her, feelings are most important.
Yeah.
Okay, when it is a feeling, then definitely most of the time she will be look or he will look at his bottom left, like bottom right, and in the process he may be recalling something. Then at the same time she will also look in these directions also. But primarily she will look at these directions only to collect the data. And the moment she would like to talk about it, she will look down towards her right or towards his right. And if he's creating it, his vision will be always towards his right, whether he's creating, whether he's auditory or visual or kinesthetic. He will look at, if he's kinesthetic, mostly he will be looking down towards the right. But whenever he is adding anything and creating anything which has a visual element or which has an auditory element, he or she will be looking towards the top right portion of his eyes.
So, but is this like true for everybody?
It's true for everybody. There will definitely even a slight movement. Even if that person is lying, or even if this person is telling the truth, if he is looking at your eyes, even then you will notice some movement, some subtle movements has to be there. It's a rare opportunity that somebody will talk to you keeping your eyes with in contact with your eyes. But you can practice it so that your eyes will be moving anyway, but the movement will be so little that others may not notice. This is
So
one
you can.
technique. This is one technique that all criminals are trained to do. So that whenever they're in an interrogation room, you'll notice that they are only looking straight at the eyes of the camera or at the eyes of the interrogator.
Mhm.
Okay. Now let me share another image with you. this image. So truth, remembering. So if that person is remembered images, remembered sounds, okay. And on the right is either he's constructing or he's lying. Constructing is creativity. It is not necessarily always lying. It could be creativity also. That person is actually creating something. Because creativity happens from the left hand side of the brain. So naturally, right hand side movements are shown up. So constructing images which are never seen before, or constructing sounds which are never heard before. Then comes feelings, where accessing feelings and kinesthetic sensations, which are associated with touch. And if that person is looking towards his bottom left, it's 100% he is a auditory digital person. Internal dialogues, they keep on talking to themselves. And they make sure that whatever internally they are talking to themselves, the other person is also talking exactly same thing or not. That's why they keep on asking this question, right? With every 2 sentences, they will say, right? Okay. This is the kind of words that he will be saying. Sometimes he will be saying a few sentences and then he will say straight away. So did you get that? Or like with a strong way of strong intonation, like, so you got that, right? You got that?
Mm.
Okay. So you will notice that they are the people who will be looking mostly towards their bottom left.
Yeah.
In normal conversation also, they will be behaving exactly the same. Even sometimes when they are not even talking, like you will notice that they are not talking to you, but you are anyway talking to yourself throughout the day internally. We have already discovered that, right? Or did we talk about it? No. Internal representation? No, we didn't talk about it. Okay. But we did talk about it that everything here is inside this brain, right? And you are communicating throughout the day with yourself only, with the images that you have created about the people. You know?
Mm.
So these people, what they do, they are consciously doing that. And that conscious thing has become so much unconscious for them that they don't even notice, and they often look towards their bottom left. So they do there is a lot of internal dialogue or talking with themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is something you have to practice. Now you can practice it in many ways. Starting with, you can even notice yourself that when you are talking, what is happening with your eyes. When somebody else is talking, you can check his eye movements and you can figure out what is going in his mind. For example, man ke chalo, you are talking to one of your friends and just ask that person that did you complete your homework? And you just keep your eyes on his eyes. Now, if he has done the homework, in which direction will he look at?
If he has done the homework,
If he has done the
uh,
homework,
left.
left. Yes, so absolutely. And it will be left top because he is
Mm.
visualizing it that he has created.
Yeah.
At least once he will be definitely looking at his top left. And now, if that person is a kinesthetic person, then when he will be replying to your question, he will look towards your bottom left.
Mm.
He will be looking at bottom right and then reply. Okay. And if you are auditory digital person, then he will be looking at his bottom left and then reply. If he is a auditory person, then he will be looking at least once towards his left and then reply. Left or right, and then he will reply.
Yeah.
Yeah. And imagine if you ask that person, so was it raining that day? In which direction will you look at?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Was it raining that day?
It's raining that day. He will look at the how do you say, right?
Now, if he can recall it, then he will look at the left. But he is creating it, if he's telling a lie, or he's just remembering it, trying to figure out whether it was actually raining or not, then he will definitely look at his right.
Right.
And in the moment you think about rain, most of the time you can listen to the sound of the rain, isn't it? So chances are there when you talk about rain, momentarily that person will look on his left and right horizontal.
Hmm.
Okay, so you have to notice on which direction he is looking at instantly the moment he asks the question. When he's answering, then he is back in control. Then he will be answering with his actual representation system. But when he is connecting the dots, you need to figure out on which direction he is looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can ask of when you ask something somebody like, just think of this. So whatever you ask them to think of, you'll notice that they will be actually naturally looking towards the left hand side, because you are telling them to think something. So think means you are actually inviting that person to connect with something that the person is already aware of, at least some dots. This is, you can say, think you are in a on a vacation, or just think you are in a bus. Imagine yourself you're sitting in a school bus, and then you look at the eyes of that person, you can see in which direction he is looking at. Now, if he is creating it, then he will look on his towards right, top right. If he is recalling it, he will look at his top left.
Hmm.
Okay. And this is a very powerful technique to build rapport with somebody. Because what is happening, you are using your sensory awareness to calibrate the person. So basically what you're doing is you're reconfirming that whether that person is actually visual, kinesthetic, auditory, or auditory digital.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever words that he is using to explain, at the same time you also reconfirm that in which direction he is moving his eyes.
Hmm.
Okay. And you can just experience this right away.
You want me to call you after some time?
Like for example, what kind of questions you can ask to figure out whether what kind of uh, eye accessing cues that person may be having. Okay, so for example, you can start talking about the colors. So when you want to figure out the visual recall part of anybody's eye movement, you are deliberately doing, yeah, because everybody represents all these representation systems. There is just one primary representation system, other ones are not primary, they are the leading ones. So for example, if you want to ask somebody about, just check, you really want to check that whether these thing works or not. So you just look at that person and ask about colors. So you can like ask that, so what was the color of your pencil box? So now if that person has a pencil box, definitely he will talk about the color. And he will definitely look towards which side?
Right.
But if they
Recall.
So left.
Yes, recall.
Okay.
Recall is always on your right. His left and your right. So you can connect
Yes.
this R with on your right. So if that person is looking at your right, that means actually this person looking at his left, he is recalling. Okay. You can actually check this. I will give you some questions which you can actually use and ask people, and then you see in which direction they're looking at. And you can do it at random throughout the day, starting tonight. In fact, starting today evening, you have a whole day left for it. Okay, so you can ask about the color or you can ask about the numbers. So these are
Yeah.
the two things that you can ask. You can write it down also. That these are the two things you can ask to figure out the visual recall effect of eye cues, eye movement cues, or eye accessing cues.
Yeah.
If you want to elicit eye accessing cues, the questions that you can ask is to elicit visual recall. You can ask about colors or you can ask about numbers. Like how many pens do you have? How many
I think here also.
Books do you have? How many windows are there in your room? How many chairs are there in your living room? Okay,
Much,
so visual recall. Then comes visual construct, creating. So when you want to create
yeah,
something, you can ask a question which will be actually creating something. It's like, imagine a pink crow. Yeah. Or you can say, if imagine that if say if a cow and if a cat and a dog has kids, how that kid will look, how that animal will look.
It might have like color like cats, and it might be as large as a dog.
Mhm. And in which direction your eyes are going?
Down left.
Down left is your replying, but actually you are looking towards your top right. Top right is the creation. The first movement will be in that direction.
Hmm.
It's like, what would be your car look like if it is painted blue?
Yeah, yeah. Goes to top
Yeah,
right.
top right. So you can ask such questions to actually figure out exactly what happens, in which direction the eyes are going.
Yeah.
Okay. Then comes auditory. So in auditory, we will be using the sounds. In visual, we will be using colors or numbers, something that somebody can see. In auditory, we will be thinking about the sound.
Yeah.
Okay. The sound recall could be something that, like you can ask somebody like, okay, what did I say? Notice in which direction your eyes are moving. The moment I ask, what did I say? What I was talking about? What we were discussing? So your eyes are naturally moving horizontally left. Because you are recalling. And recalling an incident which has something to do with sound. For example, like can you recall the voice of Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan for that matter, or maybe Arijit Singh, maybe Kishore Kumar? So when you're recalling, your eyes are moving towards your left center left. Now I am saying that imagine there's a song which was sung by say Kishore Kumar, and I'm saying imagine Lata Mangeshkar is singing this song, or imagine so there's a song which was sung by say Lata Mangeshkar, and you are asked that, okay, imagine that your sister is singing this song. So that is a creation, and naturally your eyes are moving towards horizontal right. And it's like, if I ask, if your dog could speak, what how he would say hello? So you look towards your right?
Hmm.
So this will happen naturally. You can just ask this question at random to people, and you just notice in which direction the eyes are moving. Your job is to notice the movement of the eyes without even telling the person that you are doing that, you are accessing that. For example, you can ask your mom that, Mom, have you ever spoken to Pinaki sir? And that time you notice in which direction her eyes are moving. And then you can ask her, Mom, imagine Pinaki sir is right now here and talking to you. And just notice her eye movement. Okay, so that is the
Yeah.
auditory construct. Now comes the remaining two, the kinesthetic, which is all about feelings. And it's very simple. You can just ask a very simple question using the word feel or using feeling type words. Like how are you feeling now? Or how does an ice feel? How does a potato feel? How does a vegetable feel? We talk about any vegetable. Say, how does spinach feel?
Actually, I'm trying to not look anywhere, just look at you, not think about anything.
You can follow my IQs because as I'm demonstrating, my movements is likely to be moving because I'm trying to keep myself natural.
Actually, because like the in your spectacles the screen reflects, so I
Okay,
can't clearly see your eyes.
okay. Let me do this. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so you ask me those questions, and I will be responding naturally. So,
How would
an
a
audited
penguin
digital, yeah, yeah. Okay, ask.
how would a penguin with a suitcase look like?
Penguin with a suitcase. Interesting.
Sorry, I mean the suit.
Penguin in a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so penguin in a suit. Yeah, I think a penguin in a suit. Interesting. Actually, penguin, it looks like she's wearing a suit anyway. It is wearing a suit anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
How is the weather at your place?
It's actually mild right now.
Mild right now. So, in which direction did you look at?
I looked outside my window.
Yeah. So, after you looking at the window, what you did, how you reacted to? Because to look at the weather, you need to look at the window anyway. What you can do when we're talking about weather, like you just stand near the window and then you look at the weather, and then you see which direction you're looking. See, the first movement of the eye is very important. Immediate movement. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in case of auditory digital, you can ask them some specific things. Like, for example, uh, can you ask them to recall something very specific? Like, can you remember how an addition works, or can you remember how a subtraction works? Or you can ask, are you sure? So the person is saying something. And you can ask, are you sure? Is it confirmed? So when you do that, you'll see that before answering the question, he is looking towards his bottom left, just to
Yeah.
check that whether he is confirmed about it or not. Okay. Or you can ask him something which is one of his favorite phrases or favorite quotes.
Hmm.
You can ask him that, what is your favorite quote? Who is your favorite author?
I think Rick Riordan.
Hmm?
I think Rick Riordan.
Rick Riordan. So when you're replying to that, in which direction you are looking?
Right.
Bottom left. First movement will be on the bottom left for a logical recall. So you have been asked who is your favorite author, so naturally you will be looking at your bottom left because you are logically thinking who is your favorite author. Okay. Who is your favorite actor?
I don't really have any favorite actors, I think.
Yeah, but before replying to this, in which direction did you look at?
This time I was looking at the left.
Yeah, bottom left. First movement will be on the bottom left to whenever you are talking internally to yourself. When you are comparing something to come up with something definite. For example, a better question for you. So is Shah Rukh Khan your favorite author, favorite actor? Or like, do you like Shah Rukh Khan?
He's old now.
Yeah. So whatever answer you are giving, that is secondary. In which direction you are looking? First movement of your eye. Okay. So now this is what we are talking about, a physiological effect. Like you are listening something and your body is waving like,
Yeah.
yeah. Now this can be used to create an opposite impact also. For example, if you are in a state, for example, if you want to read a book. Now, if you're reading you can actually notice it. There are two ways of reading. If you're reading a book where you need to remember certain things, and it is all about to come up with certain things where you need to produce certain things, you need to write an answer, you need to write a review, then you will notice that when you're reading the book, you're reading it towards keeping towards your left, bottom left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you're reading a romantic novel, a romantic story, you will see that naturally you have put it towards your bottom right. You cannot enjoy a romantic book by reading it, by keeping it on your left. Possibly because at every stage you will be logicizing things and you cannot enjoy the romance. Okay.
You hear me, sir? Hello?
Yeah. What I said that if you want to read a romantic book and you want to enjoy it also, romantic, you will notice that by naturally you are putting it, keeping it on your bottom right because it is all about feelings. If you keep the book on your bottom left and you read the novel now, you will not enjoy it because then you will be logically looking at everything. You are activating the logical thoughts, the logical representation system while reading a romantic book.
Yeah.
It's like प्यार वैसे ही होता है क्या प्यार ऐसे ही होता है? You will be asking these questions. If you keep it on the right hand side, you will visualize that प्यार ऐसे ही होता है, प्यार होता है ऐसे ही.
Hmm.
So whenever you are going to watching a movie, when you watch a movie, if it is a romantic movie, make sure that your screen is towards your bottom right. Then you'll enjoy it. And if it is a fictional movie, sorry, non-fiction movie, like where all the logic works, you keep the movie screen towards your left, bottom left, or at least towards your left, towards your left. Then you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you watch it in a movie theater, make sure that when you're watching a romantic movie, you're sitting towards the left-hand side of the theater. Even if it is center of the theater, but towards a little left, take the left side seats.
Hmm.
And if it is a non-fiction movie, like a thriller or something like that, where emotions से भी ज्यादा important है the logical part of it. For example, watching the movie Uri or say watching the movie Inception. You will also notice while you watch a movie in a theater, you can actually notice it, that how you sit, depending on the movie. If you are watching a romantic movie, you will put your right foot above your left foot. If you put sit cross, if you sit across, or at least you will ensure that you have moved a little towards left, so that the screen is towards your right. Then you can enjoy the movie. And if it is the other way around, then if you sit the other way around, like keeping your left portion towards the screen a little bit, थोड़ा सा tilt होना चाहिए, and right is towards the seat, your back side of the seat, थोड़ा सा हल्का सा हो, or maybe you are putting your left foot above your right foot, whether it is stretched or whether it is near your knees. You will enjoy that movie exactly the way it is supposed to be enjoyed.
Hmm.
Many times you will notice that you are also doing the same. The books that you are reading, something that you love to read, you will always keep it towards your right because you're enjoying reading it. It will definitely towards a little bit towards your right. And where you need to work towards logic, like mathematics and physics, sciences, wherever it's science, you'll notice that you are keeping the book towards your left. If it is not towards your left, you must keep it towards your left, so that physiologically you can bring the interest to study.
Yeah.
All right? Interesting?
Hmm.
Now it's time to practice. You really need to practice it. If you practice the same day, if you practice it today and tomorrow before coming to the session, a big chunk of it will move into that domain of unconscious competence. Definitely some part of it will move into unconscious competence.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Any questions?
You are gonna send this on the group, right?
Yeah, I will send these two pictures in the group.
Okay. And what is the like exact name of this technique?
Eye accessing cues. I've written it in the,
Eye accessing cues.
yeah, I have already written it. Eye accessing
Ah,
cues.
yes.
It's already written.
I also search on this on Google.
Yeah, you keep on searching on Google. You will find plenty of information, but don't get much into detail right now. Because if you go into detail, you will overwhelm. Then you won't get an opportunity to practice. You keep on practicing and then you move towards details.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Hmm.
purposefully, I am not sharing anything, uh, any study material in this program because I want you to explore. Now, when you explore, what happens? You actually convert that knowledge into wisdom.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm just sending you some basic information so that you have something to start with. You have something to refer back to whenever you want to refer back.
Hmm.
All right. Any other question?
Yeah. No.
Okay. I have a request for you.
Yep.
Whatever your feedback about this program right now, so far, like today we are in the 6th day. Whatever your feedback, I will request you write a little bit about it in
Okay.
the magic of transformation.
Magic of transformation.
Yeah. The core group where I have added first, like where you got in.
Ah, yes.
That's the magic of that's the core group. That's where all the other guys are sitting. So they do not know what's happening here.
Yeah, okay. So, sir, like, how should I start it?
You
How
think
should I
about it.
start?
You think about it. Whatever. So for example, if you just want to share about this program with anybody, you can pick up that this is something you really liked about it. This is something you got really fascinated about. So this is something you really got excited. One should know this, how you are getting values out of it when you are applying them.
Okay,
Okay?
I'll try my best.
Yeah. Now don't try your best. Do whatever it takes. Let me show you. Let me show you this. What happens when you try your best. Okay? Just come on the camera. This is very interesting. I'm very excited. We'll just end with this today. Super. So just pull your camera a little bit so that I can see you. Okay. Now you do one thing. Find out an object near you. Maybe a pen, maybe a pencil, a notebook, whatever is there around. Any object is there which you can pick up and show me on your table, lying, anything lying on your table.
I'm not actually on my table right now. Just a minute.
Wherever
Let
you
me
are,
get the
just imagine there
object.
is some, just get an
Yeah.
object. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Beautiful. Now you keep it where it was. You keep it where it was.
Hmm.
Now try to pick it up and show me. I didn't ask you to pick it up and show me. I told you to try to pick it up and show me. You keep it there where it is. You try your level best to pick it up, but you're not supposed to pick it up. Do whatever it takes
Okay.
to try your best, but you won't pick it up. Just try your best to pick it up. Can do that?
Yeah.
So that is exactly what happens when you try your best. It stays where it is. Sometimes things become also worse because you're trying your best, you're not doing anything, and you're keeping it for someday, sometime maybe. Till that one fine moment comes and you actually do that. Okay, so opposite to that is whatever it takes. Now, if I ask you to pick it up, whatever it takes, what will you do?
I'll pick it up.
That's it. Yeah? So be in action. At the most, what you can say that I don't want to show it to anybody else right now. I just want to write and show it to my mom, or I just want to write and show it to you before I put it in the group. You can say all these things, but that means you are making an attempt. If that is not trying, okay?
Okay.
Yes, you are actually making an attempt. You can see that something is happening. A fly on the wall can see that Sanjay is doing something.
Yeah.
Nischay is doing something. Okay?
Hmm.
That's it for today. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.